Hi, besties. Thank you for joining today. It is Wednesday, June 25th, and we're recapping the Valley. Y'all, how is it that it is the 4th of July next week? My God, time flies when the world is crumbling. You know what? We're going to let this safe space here, my friends, be our escape. And let's find other things to place our fear and rage, and we can put the rage into it being against Jax Taylor. There is so much I got to talk about with him, but we are going to be talking the Valley. Okay, I do want to start with any Denver besties, Colorado area besties. Listen, my dear friend, Tessa Scott, who, if you have seen, I'm sure you've seen at least some of her content on Instagram or on TikTok. She's at your favorite ex girlfriend, and it's spelled like at your favorite XGF. She is a brilliant screenwriter. She is the brain behind Single Black Female on Lifetime, not only one, two, but also three. She's on the show Queerious. I have known her for 15 years. It's terrifying that I could possibly even know anyone for that long and still be of drinking age whenever I got to know them. But welcome to your mid 30s. Anywho, Tessa is hosting a pride party at the Pearl in Denver on Sunday, the 29th. And the party starts at 3. I'm putting my big girl party pants on and I am showing up and showing out as best I can. We're going to be there. Come join. It'll be fun. Okay. So that's my starting at the top. And let's just get on into the Valley. I know if you're watching Love Island USA, there are lots of thoughts to be had. I'm thinking I should do another episode, not recapping, because my God, I still haven't finished Mormon Wives, which I have a goal to finish all of those episodes before the reunion comes out. But I just kind of want to have like a chat, a little chit chat. Can I pull you for a chat? That type of thing. Okay. So we need to talk about that too, besties. We really do. I've been dying to talk to you about it. Let's go ahead and get into this episode, shall we? What was the name of the episode? I already forgot. I just know it's episode 11. Oh yeah, it was El what well, yes, El Coyote Ugly. Okay. Wow, how did I remember that? When I can't remember why I walked in a room 9/10 of the time. So we open this episode mostly with Kristen and Luke having lunch, and the topic of kids comes up, which again, congratulations to them on baby Kaya. So exciting. And Kristen does say in confessional she never imagined raising her kids in LA. And same, babe. I cannot imagine if we had McCoy living in LA without like immediate family around, especially when they're really little. I have to say, I applaud anyone, applaud and fear for you, and am in awe. I don't even know what the word is for any people out there that are raising their children without immediate family around. It does take a village just to raise one singular child. And even then, it's like, my God, how did we get here? But I also have to say this. And I was listening to Nick Viall. Yes, I know people have very mixed reviews about Nick Viall. We're not getting into that. We're getting into something that I kind of got pissed off at that he and Natalie were saying. Okay. They said that Kristen had texted them because she was very imminently due. And she had been told that you absolutely have to have a night nurse with a newborn, and how their advice was, because they'd been here, they heard the same stuff whenever they were pregnant, that I guess they thought it was an LA thing. It's not just an LA thing. I did not have one because I could not afford one. Anywho, if you have those means, that's what these type of people have, which good for you. And their advice was how essentially it sounded to me like in it already the mom guilting of how you have this tiny fresh newborn and they've been connected to you for all these months, and while you're already going to wake up because you're already connected to them, they're searching for you as their connection in the middle of the night, and instead it's some stranger, and that's the youngest and tiniest your baby will ever be again in that day is that day. Now, while all of this may be true, can y'all shut the effing hell up with something like this. I actually do, for the most part, because I'm not a bachelor girly, like Nick and Natalie. I do. But the way this was all phrased, I get anxiety very easily over anything surrounding children, now that I'm a mother, because I don't know. It just kind of happened and I'm working on it. But it kind of infuriated me a little bit because, on the one hand, someone like myself who I was not getting, I mean, the survival that, in order to survive, sorry, it even makes me like stutter sometimes how incredibly difficult that time was for me, because it's what a human being needs in order to just function and survive is at minimum 3 consecutive hours of sleep a night. I was not getting that because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Don't let this scare you if you're thinking about children or you're pregnant or anything like that. Don't let this scare you. I should have done my research better. But I mean, we even had like a bright light on shining from the bathroom with my newborn sleeping next to me. Excuse me, in his bassinet, of course. But excuse me, I didn't realize that it needed to be dark, as dark as possible. So there were a lot of things I did not research that I should have. But if you have the means, or even someone who can help, at least a few nights when your body is recovering from what most would consider car accident level trauma, or if you, which is, it goes both ways. If you had a C-section, a major surgery that you have been sent home within 48 hours of enduring, get the help that you need when you need it. Yeah, I'm just, and no judgment if you choose not to. So, yes, while that is the tiniest your baby will ever be, your baby is not going to be any less connected to you, not going to be traumatized, anything like that. If someone comes in to help, whether it's a night nurse or a family member, okay, that really bothered me. And yes, I know it's controversial, I guess, but I like Nick and Natalie a lot. Do I think Nick is a therapist like he kind of presents himself in a lot of these episodes? No, but it just bothered me. Don't there we have enough stress and guilt as parents. Like, if we need to sleep in order to be able to properly care for our child and we're able to get help a couple nights, or even if it's every night, it's your choice, it's your baby. Anyway, that bothered me and I had to say something. And someone gave me a mic. Who was it? Me. Anywho, moving on. Kristen is hoping that this new house that she and Luke moved into will help LA feel more like home for Luke. Now we go to Nia, Danny, Zach, and Zach's boyfriend, Benji. He's such a little cutie. I love them together. They go to lunch, and Zach knows about the proposal that will be happening for Kristen in Hawaii. And Zach basically picked up on it and ended up figuring it out because the detective Dodie has just really rubbed off on him. And Nia brings up how, with this being presented as her and Danny's trip, they would not currently be wanting to invite Janet and Jason. So she's leaving that invite up to Zach. In confessional, I love that Zach points out the irony of Janet having her baby moon trip last season that she left Kristen and Zach out of, while this trip is one she's being included on, but it's going to be all about Kristen. And how dumb is Janet going to feel now that I've watched this episode? But how dumb is Janet going to feel when she ends up realizing this is actually Kristen's trip? What? Yes. Okay. So the invites are sent out and they decide to FaceTime Kristen to invite her on the Hawaii trip, and it's a go. So the boys all show up to Jesse's with Jesse's life coach. I don't know, something about this life coach. He looks like he competed on all three of these: Fear Factor, Survivor, and Naked and Afraid, just in an effort to expand his inner spiritual growth and test his his emotionally mental limits. You know what I mean? Please remember, though, he is not titled as a licensed therapist because he is not. Okay. Anyway, we're sitting in a circle, and Danny brings up that this is very much needed for all of them with the trip coming up. And Jax announces he is not going to Hawaii because he doesn't think it's a good time for him to go, do that right now. And really, I'm neither here nor there about it because I agree. He's not there in his sobriety yet. which I have more to say on that just one second. And, especially at this point in trying to be sober, going on a vacation, it would have him wanting to use and things like that. But also, I feel like he's just trying to avoid being held accountable in front of everyone and kind of trapped in a vacation atmosphere to do that. Now, I'm glad this was said on the after show. It turns out this was right after that first rehab stint. So, absolutely, remember, he had to go back. He did. And and again, I'm still now as I'm saying it out loud, I'm wanting to double check. But that's what Brittany was saying on the after show from what I understand. I don't know why I'm so confused by this. It doesn't take much to confuse me. In fact, you can tell me you got to choose left or right and I'm going to say I don't understand. So, but it furthers that most likely he was not staying sober if that's the case right after this. So it makes a lot more sense to me now. And okay, so now we're going to do the alpha males try to have feelings exercise with the men putting their hand on the other dude's chest and going down the resentment list. I mean, yeah, like let's get the straight men to learn how to look each other in the eye without being aggressive, you know? And this is something that I talk about a lot. Have y'all ever noticed? And maybe this is something that I can give you as a little bit of a fact for life, a life hack, a tip that if you need to have a serious conversation with especially a straight man, but a man in general, doesn't matter if they're gay or straight, it's hardwired inside of them, but they will have a better, more productive, more meaningful conversation if you sit side by side with them and you don't look them directly in the eye, because this goes all the way back, and you can look this up, I swear. This goes all the way back to them being cavemen, which evolution was a little slow on this one. I think we're still cavemen, aren't we, guys? Where they would be hunting together and the men would sit in a field side by side and have their life conversations. So for a man to look another man directly in the eye, and it's even hard. I don't know if you'll have noticed, but like a lot of times men, if it's a serious conversation, they tend to have a hard time looking, just sitting straight forward at you. So it's just a piece of advice. Okay. I know it's weird, but yeah. So they're going to put their hands, chesticles, hand on the chesticles. And the one with his hand on the other chesticle is going to say how they're feeling, and the other one can't say anything. And this is supposed to resolve everything because men. Okay. So no one seems to want to go first, and it's silent as Jax asks this coach why he's looking at him. Well, why are you looking at me? And the coach goes, "You're looking at me." "No, you're looking at me. Mom, he's looking at me first." So weird. But this is such a glimpse into how Jax had to have been during his group therapy sessions, because he's sitting there claiming, just listening and taking it in. Yeah, you need to do more than that. Anywho, Jesse goes ahead and jumps up because it's his house. So, okay. He starts with Luke. And Luke jokes that Jesse at least asked permission first to put his hand on his chesticle, which is a callback to last season when Kristen gave Jesse's nipple a little pinch, a joking pinch at that kid's birthday party, whatever that was, or Janet's birthday party. Same thing, because it was a child's carnival for her, but whatever. And how he did it back to her. Yeah. So, Jesus, Jesse starts by saying Luke's quote unquote blind loyalty to his girlfriend made him feel hurt, angry, and want to be aggressive, but he's willing to let that go. What did that actually resolve, y'all? Is this a man thing? Am I just too, am I, is it because I'm just a girl? I don't know. I don't get it. Now Jax is going to go with Mr. Coach, and he's struggling to even get any real words out. He's getting emotional because his life is so tough at the moment, which it was a wreckage of his own doing. Anywho, Danny and Jason go next because I'm sorry, I'm done hearing Jax boo-hoo and be a victim, which I have something to chat with y'all about in just a second. I just want to stay on topic for at least a full 5 minutes. Anywho, Danny and Jason go next, and they choose. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, yes. Sorry, because we're tired of hearing Jax cry about how he chooses the same choices that make him sad. And Danny tells Jason he's sorry for the things he said to Janet. And Jason tells Danny he's not in a place to let everything go, but they can work on it. And then Jason explains to the coach that he and Janet's relationship with Danny and Nia has had a black cloud and it's not fully repaired just at this point. The dark cloud is your wife, Jason. What did Danny and Nia specifically do to you and Janet that was so bad for it to be like this? Tell me, please, because I don't see it. I mean, I can understand y'all wanting to stand up for Jasmine and Melissa, but the insensitivity and clunkiness with which you both are addressing Danny's drinking is really what brought you here. But Jesse says it's about drinking and more so the hiding it when it comes to Danny. And Dan admits that, yes, he has had moments where he lied about how many drinks he's had before. Listen, this is something that lots of people have done. But at the same time, I will say if you're being inappropriate in the ways that Danny has undoubtedly been inappropriate, it's another issue. And how did Teddy Mellencamp enter the conversation, which she has been saying, oh, I've seen Danny be dark side Danny. Not inappropriate, but he's just annoying. What? No one asked yet, Teddy. Jesus Christ. Anywho, I don't believe Danny personally, and I'm no professional in any sense of the word when it comes to this type of stuff, but I don't believe Danny has an issue with addiction. I believe he has an issue with how he consumes and his ability to say when, which I believe if he consumed more often would be perfect breeding ground for addiction. Okay. But yeah, the coach says they're all squirrely and sneaky when it comes to how he hides how much he had to drink. Just a bunch of little squirrel friends. Now the girls are going to be going to El Coyote for a girls' dinner. And it's including Shishu, but no Lala because Lala's probably about to give birth. So Shishu's on her own here. It is super awkward between Janet and Nia, who are at opposite ends of the table. And Nia brings up in confessional how Janet is obsessed with talking about everyone else's relationship, but it's never about her own. And the Hawaii trip is brought up, where we hear that Michelle's startle goat boyfriend, Aaron, is coming. And she's feeling safe with that because she thinks he's going to be more of a buffer between her and, well, Jesse's shitty behavior. And dear Lord, we all have that one friend in the group. Damn it. Jasmine. Jasmine is asking about the surprises, the special surprises that are happening in Hawaii because Zach told her there would be special surprises. Zachary. Jesus. Yikes on bikes, Zachary. Just don't. I know you're excited, but shut up. Nia is sweating all of this because Kristen, we've got our Detective Dodie sitting right in the middle of them, and she's picking up on everything. What surprises? There's a surprise, Mariposa. And because our Ice Age squirrel is such a hot topic, Michelle's burning through that pleather booth seat to bring up how it's been brought to her attention that people keep talking about her boyfriend. Girl, nobody is talking about your freaked out squirrel like that, ma'am. She thinks it truly is this huge conversation in the group about who Aaron has slept with in his past and says that Jenna and Aaron were hooking up in 2020. She now directs it at Kristen with how they've had their issues in the past. And Kristen's just like, that has nothing to do with me though. Like, why am I in this? Now, why am I in this? Michelle is so off. She doesn't get it. She's asking how Jesse has come to be aware that Jenna and Aaron hooked up. And Kristen's just like, who cares? I mean, really though, let's think about who you're trying to lob this over to. Kristen, God bless her, she's never going to be able to forget the fact that she hooked up with the now estranged husband of her best friend who is literally sitting next to her, who also was the ex-boyfriend of another one of her former best friends. And also Kristen's ex-boyfriend, Carter, had a one-night stand with another one of Kristen's they're not besties anymore, but I think they're kind of friends, I guess. Katie. So wrong crowd, babe, wrong crowd. And thank you. In confessional, Zach is very clear that it was never Kristen who said anything. And we know that. It was all him. And yeah, it was not the thing Michelle thinks it is. It just wasn't like that. And at this point, is Janet hammered? What is going on? She's getting so hyper involved here out of effing nowhere. Because Janet, in case you were wondering, no one asked you. And when I was taking these notes so far, I hadn't reached the point in the episode where maybe Janet does admit to being shit-faced and an asshole. But that was the only conclusion I could come to. I was like, what are you doing? Janet is so aggro, reminding Kristen that she went behind Michelle's back and called her a cheater, which obviously is a reference to last season, the conversation Kristen and Luke had after that Mondrian dinner from hell outside of the elevators, where Kristen was like, she's had a boyfriend for a year. But Kristen asks Janet, girl, why are you getting involved? And she and Nia have this little aside that Janet just loves the drama, and that's why. Yeah. Well, Janet, it's a couple things. Janet loves the drama and wants to be right in the big fat middle of everything because she wants the attention. And she's been dying to be on a Bravo show for forever. Brittany tells Kristen that Michelle thinks that she's trying to ruin her relationship with Aaron. In what mother effing way? I'm sorry. Also remember that Jenna is friends with Sheena, who you were sitting next to, Michelle. And Sheena is, from what we got from Zach, how everyone even knows Jenna. With Sheena saying F all, which is the next topic. Again, why is Sheena consistently mute on this show? It's bizarre. Are they just editing our girl out? I don't know what's happening. Kristen says that she won't bring Jenna around somewhere Michelle and Aaron are going to be. And again, what freaking pasta did Janet consume before this dinner? Because why are you so hyped up and ready to punch a wall, bitch? Janet goes, you already did bring Jenna around Michelle and Aaron. So she's referencing the housewarming party that Michelle and Aaron were not at. And Kristen's like, it didn't even cross my mind. Okay. Because again, here's the thing, Michelle, let's be so for real. Either it is a big deal that Aaron and Jenna had this thing, 5 years ago, which also it was not 5 years ago. It was a year and a half ago, or it's not. So which one is it? Is it a big deal or is it not? Gotta say, Janet, now, I'm sorry. Which is it? Michelle and Janet? Which one? Because I forgot to include Janet. And I gotta say Janet now because Janet is sticking her nose right in the shit. But Michelle, if it's nothing, then who cares if this girl is there? You're gonna run into people you've had things with if they're in the friend group or adjacent or just live in the same city. I mean, come on. Now Janet is yelling that Kristen is doing the dirty work. Bitch, what? What? Is she not allowed to invite someone who is her friend to a party at her house? In confessional, Janet claims that she's upset because she's seeing Kristen sniper from the side and that she's sticking up for Nia so hard that she's willing to do anything like take down Janet's marriage and Michelle's relationship. Well, yeah, okay. But we still don't know why you ever truly had you never had a valid reason to go after Nia, especially the way you were. Kristen tells Janet this was a conversation between her and Michelle, that Janet is now inserting herself and making it a bigger deal than it is. As Janet is now yelling, accountable, a word you can't stand. You are being such a pest to the point that even Brittany is like, Janet, come on. You're like a fruit fly or one of those beetles. Oh my God. I don't know if y'all outdoors, especially during like warm months, do y'all have those beetles that will come attack the shit out of you when you're outside? It's always happening here in Colorado to me at the pool. But in LA, someone called it like some sort of Japanese something beetle. And when I say these things are literally bigger than a hummingbird, they're fat and they will just dive at your head. I don't know if it can do anything to me, but I don't like it. It freaks me out. Get your Get get your multiple legs away from me. Maybe they just have 4 legs, but still, get away from me. Oh, it gives me goosebumps even. I have goosebumps because they piss me off so bad. They're like the most annoying guy at a bar. They won't go away. Won't go away. Anyway, that's Janet right now. I find this confessional interesting where Jasmine says she wants the old Janet back. That was fun and enjoyable to be around because this Janet is doing way too much. Okay, yeah. Kristen decides to leave. And Janet is yelling, "See ya, get your to go box. Bye. I'm done. I'm done with this." Janet, uh, ugh, I'm sorry. God, the way I would have wanted to wring her freaking neck. Nia starts tearing up because it's really overwhelming for her. She finds it too intense with people yelling. It seems like it must be a trigger for her as well. And she's crying because she's not used to this. She's just this soft girl with a shaky voice who isn't accustomed to yelling at friends in public at a dinner table. God forbid. What a monster Nia is. Jeez. And then Janet. What, speaking of monsters, she now goes, always tears when it's intense about Nia. Janet, I take back anything nice I've said about you because, girl, you are an emotionally constipated gremlin, okay? Monster. Nia gets up and, girl, you go, girl. She just says, fuck you and leaves. Good for you, Nia, because you don't have to sit there with that human who was clearly cast for chaos and not chemistry and friendship connection. Okay. Janet tells the girls she's not putting up with the tears when things get intense because they went after her own husband not wearing his wedding ring while Danny is ass grabbing. And you know what? The way the rest of the girls are looking at Janet is almost as though they are finally seeing that Janet is a freaking goddamn monster. But she's not done because Janet then goes, you know who wants to fucking cry? I want to cry. Then cry, Janet. Cry because we don't care. Cry, bitch. Cry. Now we're doing a field day. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But Jenna is there. And Michelle thinks that ever since Jenna found out Michelle is with Aaron, she wants to be around all of Michelle's friends. Michelle, I don't think Jenna cares the way you do. And girl, Jenna just does not give a shit. Jasmine says she invited her to be a referee for this day before the girls' dinner at El Coyote. So, in confessional, Zach says he thinks Jesse's the one who needs to get his aggression out at this field day. But maybe it's Jax because he's sitting there all sweaty and huffing and puffing, looking like he just got out of a tanning bed. Quite accurate. And then Zach says sorry, Zach is so funny. And then Zach goes, it's about Jax. He looks like an angry chicken right now. Yeah, actually, an angry rotisserie chicken. Straight out of one of those plastic bags under the warmer in the grocery store. We're splitting into teams. We have our red team. That's Jasmine, Brittany, Brock, Benji, Zach, Danny, Nia, Michelle. And our purple team is Melissa, Janet, Kristen, Jax, Jesse, Jason, Luke. There are way too many J names on this show. And of course, Janet is super pissed about being on a team with Kristen and apparently hates field day because she would choose to take magic lessons as a kid instead of doing sports when she was growing up. Brittany shows up, and in confessional, the producer asks her if she heard from Jax at all after she had him served. And apparently she has. And he said he didn't expect it, but understood why she did it. Wow. Well, tiny bit of growth. Little tiny ant baby steps, a baby ant step. So they did the games. That's fine. Now we're having some talks. Okay. Brittany and Janet talk with Brittany saying she feels good about her decision to file for divorce. It's just getting more real and making her more sad. And Brittany asks Janet if she's talked to Nia at all. And Janet says she was pretty damn fired up because she's pissed that Kristen blurted out the ring rumor as a way of defending Nia and Danny. Okay, Janet, but how in the hell was that Nia's fault? Nia didn't look at Kristen and go, I want you to say that Jason takes his ring off sometimes when he goes to bars to look single. Defend me by saying that. She never fucking said that. Anyway, Janet says she thinks it's bullshit that Nia was crying because it's actually Michelle being dragged through shit. Okay, so you know what? It's okay for Nia to have emotions and be upset. And it's also okay for Michelle to cry and be upset because Michelle's going through it too. It's not one of those things where only one person is allowed to be sad or upset at a time. That's no. Now Luke is going to go drop off his gecko with Kyle Chan. Weird that you have a gecko as a grown man. Still love you though. He's also picking up Kristen's ring and he has to be quick about it because Kristen is tracking his location. So on brand. And it is very sad because he and Kristen are going to be leaving tomorrow before they all go to Hawaii to go see his grandmother who has cancer and she's not doing well. So that's very sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. Also, shout out to, I don't know if y'all know who Donald, who is Prima Donald on Instagram. He is very enmeshed with Bravo, does a lot of the social media work for them. He just lost his father last weekend, the night before Father's Day. And I just say, go show Prima Donald some love because that's just heartbreaking. And he is such a sweet, sweet, kind soul. And I just makes me sad. Anyway, let's come back up here. Okay. Janet and Jason are at their house talking about the Hawaii trip. And Janet, at the very least, admits she needs to apologize to Nia because she did go so hard for her. But then she follows that up by saying it's hard to apologize to Nia because she thinks Nia is gaslighting her. I just, oh, how and why? Why is your problem with Nia? Why? Janet, God. Ooh, you and Jack's whole cow cheese are gonna have me ripping my hair out that I worked so hard to grow. It seems that while Kristen and Luke are packing, that this proposal is going to be happening on a boat, like fishing excursion in Hawaii. And Kristen's asking Luke what to wear for this excursion. And she's like, water shoes? Oh my God. Could y'all imagine wearing dorky ass water shoes when your man gets down on one knee? Oh my gosh. But luckily, the look on Luke's face is like, oh shit, I know I'm supposed to say something to prevent that from happening. So he says that Nia told him the girls were all just going to dress cute for this fishing excursion while the guys dress themselves. Jax is now at a restaurant and calling what does appear to be Brittany, who is supposed to be meeting him, and she's not answering. He claims in confessional that he's coming into this conversation with tail between legs and gets her on the phone where she tells him she's not coming because she got a shit ton of DMs when she woke up that he was drunk at the bar the night before with girls just being a disaster. Of course, Jax denies this, but Brittany isn't going to be believing him because one, history speaks for itself. Two, she's getting multiple accounts of him doing this. And three, it's Jax. But she admits in confessional that she knows she has to have a conversation with him at some point because they do have to figure out co-parenting. And she tells Jax on speakerphone as he's sitting by himself at this restaurant, I think you're a vile, terrible human being, and you really put me in a terrible situation. Have fun being drunk at your bar. And oh, Jesus. Y'all, this tells us everything we need to know. When Jax says in confessional, they're getting divorced. So because of that, what he does on his own time is his business. You may as well have just said, yeah, so I was drunk. But as she's still reaming him out on the phone, starting to say, you're 45 years old, he hangs up on her. Oh, you fucker. The way you hang up on me. Oh my God. I think I would find a way to teleport my hand through that phone, grab him by his nose that he's had how many nose jobs on, and yank him through the phone while I use my other hand through the phone to grab his ear. How'd I become Southern again? That Oklahoma comes out sometimes. And I'd be like, this is what I had to finish saying to you. Anywho. But yeah, he hangs up on her and just goes, well, that's that. And is like, eek. Yeah, dude, the grace isn't coming overnight, sir. You did too much damage. And in confessional, his dumbass finds it more embarrassing that she didn't show up for this meeting. Finds that more embarrassing than his own behavior that led to that. So He's claiming in the car as he's leaving that he was home from the bar by 11 last night, which tells us nothing regarding whether he was drinking, using, and bringing someone home with him. So, an 11 o'clock to me, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just too old now. That's not that early, bruh. We're in Hawaii now. And I'm always such a jelly belly bitch when they go on these vacations. But Zach and Jesse both get upgraded to presidential suites. And I think Zach has a point here. And I do, because it might have looked quite suspicious if he just offers to trade with Kristen and Luke automatically. But Luke's annoyed in his confessional that he didn't immediately offer to trade. But I think Zach had a good point. It was going to look suspicious. And I think Zach and Luke needed just to have like a side conversation, you know? But why did they get upgraded? It's so bizarre. Except now we do find out, though, that Jesse, Zach, and Benji have to share the presidential suite, essentially. I guess Jesse was off in some kind of, I don't know, like side guest suite to it. It more so sounded like they accidentally gave away one of the rooms and then had to upgrade them. Because apparently Jesse's room did not even have a bathroom. So he ends up having to share the bathroom with Zach and Benji. That did not sound like a better deal. No. Everyone goes down to the pool. And Jason and Danny start chatting about the ongoing issues and how the girls had their own issue after the two of them tried to squash it. So they decide to go ahead and grab Nia and Janet to try and get that Band-Aid ripped off on this whole problem. And Janet apologizes to Nia for blasting off on her. And what do you know? What do you know? Janet admits she had way too much alcohol, with Nia clocking her ass, going, "That early in the night?" Every time I hate Janet the most, she brings me around a little teeny tiny bit. And it's from her saying to Nia that she deserved every bit of the FUs that Nia gave to her. But Nia is a kinder person than most because she apologizes for saying that to Janet. And now Danny apologizes to Janet for bringing up the things he did at the Britt's bar event. And they all forgive each other to their faces. But in confessional, Nia says she can't quite read Janet. Probably the sunglasses not helping with that. But she's going to have her guard up with her. And when Jason tells Danny and Nia, thank you for including him and Janet on the trip and not disinviting them, Nia says she would never do something like that, you know, like disinviting someone. And Janet goes, "I would." Girl, we know that. You don't need to announce it. But yeah, Jesse is pissy about Aaron being on the trip. And in confessional, he says the biggest issue is that he's still that Aaron is dating his quote unquote still wife, Michelle, and is around his 4-year-old daughter. Um, okay. Uh you, Jesse, are also a man who is dating a woman when you are, you know, Michelle's quote unquote still husband, and this woman is coming around your 4-year-old daughter, you doofus. But he expects that Aaron should have called him up or had a conversation with him to say he's spending time around his child and ask if there are boundaries for Jesse. That's kind of an odd phone call to try and have. Okay. I get it, but I don't. Luke is proposing tomorrow, and God bless him. He's so nervous that Kristen's like, "What is wrong with you? What's your anxiety?" I'm picking up on it. And she's so confused, thinking she's done something. And God bless, this is hard because Kristen's literally assuming it's something she's done or that it has to do with him being sad about his grandmother. She just doesn't know what's going on. So, and yes, we do see that Jesse, Benji, and Zach all have to use the same bathroom and shower. But in confessional, Jesse drones on about how upset he is over Michelle and Aaron and that it's not something that can be trusted. That after Michelle admitted to cheating on him when she says it wasn't Aaron she was cheating with. And he's pissed about Aaron commenting on how he spoils Isabella, which that was like episode 1. Agreed. That's not Aaron's business whatsoever. I would have lost my shit if my estranged spouse's girlfriend said a word to me about the way I parent. Murder. Murder. Jesse feels like Aaron deserves a punch in the face after he believes that it was him who Michelle cheated on him with, and that he's now forced to be on a vacation with the man he believes his soon-to-be ex-wife cheated on him with. And we do get a to be continued with Jesse confronting Aaron on this 2 hours later. Now, this is we are done recapping, but can I tell y'all, you're not going to convince me that after we learned of the Frank Drummond burner account that Jax had, that he did not create this X, Twitter, Twatter, whatever we're calling it now, account called Justice for Jax Taylor. Now, we're going to start with the fact that there are the same misspellings, grammar mistakes, typos in all of this that Jax has in all of his rage texts. If y'all want to take a look at it, don't even go follow it. Okay. It is @_justice, the number 4 Jax. And the number of AI images he created. Okay, this person allegedly created, aside from the fact that this account was created June 2025 and it lists its location as Los Angeles. I mean, I'm looking at one that has an AI photo of Jax wearing a t-shirt, crying, covering his ears, like, I can't take it anymore. And on his shirt, it says, I bleed too. And it's a crowd of people screaming at him in shirts that say Bravo. Mhm, mhm. And then let's see. The tweets. I better stop because it's allegedly. It's my opinion that it's Jax. Okay, there's no solid proof right now. One of the tweets is, I'll never get used to watching the cast abuse Jax Taylor. Tonight was a tough watch, to say the least. Let's see. Imagine having so much pain in your life that you can't even watch the news. Um, yes. Oh, wow. Yeah. So, sorry, I thought Jax blocked me on Twitter because I called out his spray tan last season, but maybe he didn't. And then the rest of this tweet says, this man hurts so bad that he needs to shield himself from real world issues. When it was that interview where he said on a red carpet he doesn't watch the news. This person furious about the New York Magazine doing a write up on how he's a monster. There's another AI image of Watch What Happens Live where Jax is looking so sad and beaten down, and he's dressed up like a court jester. See, y'all, my speech impediment. Jester. Those J's and SH's get me. Anyway, and it's Andy Cohen holding a microphone up to him, I think. Or no, what is that supposed to be? No, it's a hot poker with Schwartz laughing in the background, and they're on the Watch What Happens Live stage. Okay, cool. Yeah. Then another one is nobody's talking about how Jax opened Watch What Happens Live with a genuine apology to everyone. Are people so blinded with hate for this man that they can't appreciate the apologies they themselves are demanding? And then I'll tell you exactly where it made it look like it must be Jax made a mistake, allegedly, possibly, in my opinion. Temple nightclub in San Francisco posted something back in April saying, if you remember Saturday, no, you don't. Lucky for you, we got it on camera because it was Kyle Cook DJing. Well, this account, Justice for Jax, retweeted or quoted it, I guess, right? With adding, remember, it's a night I'll never forget. Kyle put on a terrific show. Oops. Just go look at it. Or, yeah. Now, do I condone anyone saying things like Jax needs to go jump in the ocean and keep swimming until he can't? No. I don't find that appropriate for anyone to say about another human being ever, at least not publicly. But I have to say this is the issue here. I think there has to be a bigger conversation about Jax's mental health. It is clearly I feel personally that it's dangerous for himself, for those around him. And this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional. I'm not licensed. I don't know anything except what I know, which I'm armchair quarterbacking, right? we never know with him, but he has said on more than one occasion that he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Now, here's the thing, no one asks to be afflicted with addiction issues. No one asks to be diagnosed with mental health diagnoses. It and having a mental health diagnosis doesn't make you a bad person. Okay. What you do with it is the choice that determines what type of human being you are. It's an added layer of responsibility that you didn't ask for, but it is a responsibility nonetheless, especially as a father. And I think he needs more help than even he's getting. If that is his account, I am very concerned for not only the safety of Cruz and Brittany and those around him, but for him. I really am worried about the safety there. And this is not, please no, y'all know how I feel about Jax. I'm not defending him. I am concerned though. And I think I think he needs a break from reality TV. I think it's fantastic that he is not going to be a part of this trip. And we've seen that this show can survive without him. I think he needs to take a long break and we'll see if he should come back. He does not need to be there right now. Period. It's not needed. Okay. So there's that. You can go check that oddity out. Friends, thank you again for joining today. I know it was a quick recap for the most part, but again, I will be working more on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And I think we should just have like a Love Island USA chat because not a recap, but a chat, chitty chat, pull you for a chat. Anyway, besties, thank you again for joining. Please do me a solid. Could you leave a 5-star review with what you do love about the show? It is the best and free way to support this little podcast here. Be sure and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to YouTube. It's at Besties by Caitlin, Caitlin. Check out Pop Culture Besties Etsy merch shop. It's all designed by me. It's like 98% of it's Bravo, 99%, what have you. And besties, I will see you again soon. I don't want to make promises on the exact date that more of Mormon Wives will be coming out, but I'm working on it. I promise. All righty. Thank you so much again for joining. I'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful hump day. Bye.